Any ideas?
I think it's
Yeah.
commitment seriously, and then.
So where do you belong mostly?
Mostly the left one, I think.
Yeah.
But it's contradictory to the short-term relationships for me, for my feeling.
So you're more in this more
The
lifetime.
relationship, yes, but
The most are here. Where are you from?
Belgium,
Belgium. What's your mother tongue?
Dutch.
Dutch. Okay.
It does change when you live in different countries. I'm German,
Mm.
and I would say we belong typically to the more.
No, but you personally, not like where you come from, but you as a person, your name is
Martina.
Martina. So what would you say you tick most boxes?
I used to belong to the monochronic people because that's how I grew up, but I lived in the United States for a long time, and then that shifts you a little bit more to the middle, so it's hard to say now. You mix sort of elements, you might have found that
And
as
maybe
well.
you adapt, and of course it's not that we're in a category, right? We're multi-modal, we do this and that based on the context, but just for the sake of certain. And you had some,
That way.
Yeah.
where are you from?
From the UK.
UK? What's your heritage?
India.
India? Yeah?
Fully.
The polychronic? Yeah? Others?
Definitely polychronic.
Where are you from?
I'm half Mexican, half French Canadian, but I live in the UK.
Okay, interesting. Good, yeah.
Mostly right side.
Polychronic.
Yeah.
You are from
Turkey.
Turkey, all right, very good, very interesting. So let's now see something else. Here is another list from Richard Lewis, who happened to love Finland. Do you have any guesses where Finland belongs from these three categories? Linear active, multi-active, and reactive, if you read the descriptions. Any guesses where Finland might belong to? You think right? Okay. Who thinks linear active? Hands up. Yeah.
Reactive and reactive.
Good point. Who thinks are multi-active? No one. And who thinks they're reactive? Very good. Yes. Your name is? Doris. I think, Doris, you're onto something here, and all of you. Because if you look at Finland, it's towards the linear active, like most of you has said, the first column, but they're very close to the reactive too. And this I explained based on perhaps, where is it? I have another table. Yeah, it comes later on, so I can show it there from you. So keep this in mind, linear active, reactive, and I'll explain shortly why it is there. So another element, we spoke about the personal time, the personal space, the time, and now a nice definition, monochromatic and polychromatic cultures, a nice distinction. Chroma in Greek means color. So monochromatic means one color, where polychromatic means many colors. Okay? Mono, one, poly, many, and chroma, color. So major linear active cultures like Germany, UK, Netherlands, Belgium, Canada, Baltic states, Finland with an asterisk, we'll explain that, Sweden, Norway, etc., qualify as monochromatic, as having one color. Whereas multi-active polychronic cultures such as Spain, Italy, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, and when you read Greece, when you read those names, you can imagine colors, right? Colors. The red of the flag, the blue of the sea, the food, the colorful food. Things come to your mind. So they're polychromatic cultures. And there is a category like East Asia. Someone from East Asia? Or Asia? Okay. Partly reactive, such as Canada, Finland, and Turkey, merit a separate chromatic classification as pastel-shaped cultures. They are a little bit in the between. And depends, maybe the culture is very big, right? Maybe St. Petersburg is very polychromatic, and Murmansk in the north of Kola Peninsula is very monochromatic, right? Depends really where on the country. Maybe the south of France is more polychromatic than Lyon. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. So than Paris. So the culture seduction is something that is a very nice metaphor that I like. So culture seduction is a phenomenon which explains how members of linear active monochromatic and monochronic cultures, although they have an important role in leading world affairs, right, in diplomacy and policy making, they get seduced and attracted. They spend their holidays in Greece and Montenegro and Croatia, right, in Argentina, in Brazil, in Mexico, in Thailand, right? They're sick and tired of the Finnish dull weather, and they go to a polychromatic, polychronic, more messy, more colorful country. So that's the culture seduction. They might even bring a man home, right, from that culture. It's quite typical, right? Something different. So this is very interesting and applies to the climate, the sound, the food, the customs, the tradition, the Greek light for painters, very exceptional. Many people have written about it. So this is something, culture seduction, that I like a lot, the phrase of understanding a little bit movement of people, right? Who's seduced by who, which members of which culture with whom, and if we can get an insight. Now we will explain shortly where we left before about Finnish people. So here, can we start reading a little bit this sense of the Finnish values? So if we start from here, one by one.
Sense of separateness, uniqueness, isolation.
Yes, being in the outskirts of Europe, right? You are isolated. You feel you're in the outskirts. When a Finn says, "I'm traveling, I'm going to Europe," right? Anything else outside Finland is Europe. They feel like, "We're not even in Europe. We're going to Europe," right? They very often say that. Next.
Sisu. Courage, toughness, stamina, guts.
Yes, sisu is a Finnish word. So say please with me. Sisu. Sisu is this guts, the perseverance that we will make it. We will, in the snow, we will dig a hole in that lake and be able to fish in -30, bring a fish home to our wives. This is sisu, right? We have the guts.
Honesty, blue-eyed, law-abiding, scientific truth.
Finnish people are honest, I will explain that, but sometimes they're a little bit too blue-eyed and naive. They might come across as really naive. As a Greek, I have to be honest, and many times I feel like fooling them and cheating them because they're so easy, right? Believe everything. I'm so a good person, I don't do that. But it's so easy, because when you're in a culture where you have to cheat everything like, on your way, because whatever, there will be a problem. You know, you want to be a law-abiding citizen, but they don't let you, right? Now there's corruption here, there's corruption there. You have to, well, you'll see, I'll outsmart you. So when you come to Finland, you're a little bit, too blue-eyed. Okay, so it's a little bit a paradox. Finland is a land of paradox.
And hatred of death.
Yes, Finland's people hate debt. They pay the debt for work compensations, and they want to have clean business. I bought you coffee once, you owe me $2.30. It's very clear, right? They don't like owning, borrowing, right? You want to make a cake, you don't have sugar, you don't go to the neighbor, right? No, it's impossible. I've never been to any of my neighbors. Nobody in it has come. Sometimes I hear sound, are they coming? No, just going there. Sometimes I feel when I exit my flat, I think somebody is about to exit too, just wait for me to go, and then they exit. Because I never bumped into any one of my neighbors. I've been thinking about it. I think they're way behind their door. That she's coming now. Let her go. Now we can go throw the garbage. So it's a little bit. Next. Luotettavuus. Reliability, strong word-deed correlation. Okay? What they say is what they do. Word is bond. I come and help you, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, they're there. It's not an it's a maybe. Maybe you call, where are you? You promised to help me. Oh, did we really? Oh, I didn't get a confirmation from you, and all this thing that happens in some other cultures. 6.
shyness and modesty, humility, self-accustomment, minding your own business, lack of flattery.
I have a great example of this minding your own business in the video coming soon, so this will explain it. Number 7.
Purity, belief, good, summary,
Can you
distrust
see?
of, sorry.
Verbosity.
Yeah.
Distrust of verbosity, so they don't like to talk much. They're men of few and women of few words. If you're boasting and you're verbose, right? Blah 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 blah, done this and that and that. Hey, there's something fishy here. How is it possible? The least you say, the more reliable you are. So keep your mouth shut when you're presenting yourself to a fit, your accomplishment. You have a PhD. Don't mention it. You just make them feel uncomfortable, right? Nah, just have some studies. And it will come eventually. Then,
Directness, frank.
yes, so they're frank people. Well, maybe too frank. We'll see some examples of it.
Realism, pessimism, accuracy.
Yeah, so in brackets is perhaps a little bit the negative element of this. So they are realists, but sometimes they're a little bit too realistic. They come across as pessimists. That come on, like I have a creative idea. Why can you go along, right? So, no, it's not going to happen because this and this and this problem, law says. Right, the first answer comes naturally, no, right? And then the common sense, something that we will touch upon as opposed to Latin rhetoric, the lack of maybe debating skills and argumentative skills. Finns don't like to be challenged intellectual to have a debate. I think it's the worst thing that you can do. I love debating. I love arguing for the sake of arguing. Just, it's in my culture, I think. I think we're used to this, that I can prove you, this is black where it's white, and we're friends after that, but a Finnish person, like, no, what do you mean? This is white. Piste, go. And person goes away, drops mic. So it's a little bit different. But let's take a look now about the Finnish communication style, because this is what we spoke before. So this is very interesting and explains this, what you said, the multi-active, reactive, linear active, like why they're between those two. So here you see, this is the Finnish values that we also explained. And these are shared with Western Europeans, right? Whereas, while Finns are in between and they share values with Western Europeans, their communication style is shared with Asians. That's why Finland is called the Japan of Europe. Have you ever heard about that? Trust me, it's the Japan of Europe for many reasons. One reason is this. You see, these values very similar, and this communication style very similar to an Asian culture. So they're just there in the between, not totally Western Europeans, perhaps, or Americans, or an American would be, but having many values. But as they come across when they communicate these values, he's very modest, very quiet, very, right? Something that would resemble more an Asian culture, right? So this is something that you can maybe think about. And of course, body language, right? And the facial expression is very, you can tell a lot about a person's face. In many cultures. And here you have an example of a Finnish person, probably you know that person. Kimi Räikkönen, Formula 1 driver, winner, nice young looking man. And you see the variety of the Finnish expression depicted on his face, right? So you see how much variety Kimi Räikkönen is showcasing in his emotion. It's quite interesting, really. So this is how it feels talking to a Finnish person. You have to analyze the little micro expression behind the left eye and try to understand, are they happy now? Are they offended? What's happening? So it's very small changes in a person's face that would tell you something. It's not like if I'm not happy, I'm in a meeting with my colleagues and I'm like, I mean, you can tell all over my face that I'm not happy, really. But Finnish people are very good. That's why they have no wrinkles. They look so young for their age, right? Everything is just pulled from the cold and lack of expression, and they look so much younger than they really are. Did you notice? Ask people's ages if you're brave. Please do. Huh?
Do they get offended?
No, they won't get offended. They're honest people. They will tell you. But then compare this with what you see. You'll be surprised. It's quite interesting. They look very much younger than their real age. This is so surprising. So now, let's go to the second part of today's session. There's the saying that says, on lotto voitto syntyä Suomeen, which means being born in Finland is like winning the lottery. And many times Finns might brag about it, or they might even make fun of it, but actually happy about it. It's like, nah, it's a lottery being born in Finland. And no wonder you're a student and you get 700 euros for doing nothing. Just come into the class and say, well, I'm a happy teacher. Give me one as long as I pass. And Kela gives me the money. How to explain Kela? The social security organization. Yeah, the social security organization, right? That they give students 500-700 euros just to study, get a house, study. That's great. So easy. And it might be because of this reason that maybe Finns think that it's actually hitting the jackpot, being born in Finland. Did some of you know what this is? Some of you do, right? So this is a maternity package that every expectant mother gets in Finland. It has a box. Every year it's different. It's made by a Finnish designer. And includes all kinds of clothes and overalls and little brushes, even prophylactics and things for the mother. So lots of things for the baby. So you're born in Finland, you get that package. You have a choice. You either get this pack of nice goodies or you get 140 euros cash. Most mothers, 90%, go for the box because it's so much valuable. Right? This is something that Finnish government has sent to Kate Middleton when she was pregnant. British ladies, did you know? She got this package. So this is that maternity package, a gift to all mothers. It's a tradition that dates back to 1938. And back then it was only for poor families, but a few years, let's say 10 years after, it was adapted to include all mothers. You go to the post office, you pick it up, and that's that. You have. So in Finland, I made the mistake once, in Greece, when you go to your friend who gave birth, you go and you bring clothes for the baby, right? Do you do in your culture? It's very typical. In Finland, it's a big no-no because clothes, we have everything through the package. Couldn't you have thought about something more original that we could use? So I always or in the beginning, I was bringing clothes. It's so typical. And they were not so happy. Okay, now I know. I bring different things. So, because in 1930s, Finland was a poor country and children were dying a lot. Here are some statistics. 65 out of 1,000 babies were dying, so infant mortality was quite high. They implemented this policy and really then they started booming as a country, giving healthy babies, and the country grew and workforce and all that. So that's a brilliant idea. Finnish babies sleep in these cardboard boxes because this box here has a little mattress. So if the mother and father cannot afford a bed, it turns out into like a crib. So the box that the clothes are inside has a little mattress that you can put your baby there to sleep if you have a small flat or you cannot afford. So I think it's brilliant, isn't it? Brilliant. And equality, yes, Finland has no separate he or she in the vocabulary, so everything is a hen. Your hen, gentleman there, your hen, you can read a book about a hen, you look about this hen, like who is this, man or woman, like you cannot see from the context. So it's a country that politically has given rights to women 96 to vote, but also to be candidates in elections. And I checked yesterday the latest statistics from Tilastokeskus, Statistics Finland. In this week we have elections. parliamentary elections, the women proportion of candidates is almost 40%. And almost about that number, it's the actual women who get into parliament. And of course, Finnish former president for 2 rows was Mrs. Tarja Halonen. And law and order. Finnish people love and respect the law. It's quite surprising because I was in a conference in Athens a few months ago, and I've forgotten how hectic Athens is, a city of 6 million people, where Finland is a country of 6 million people all over the country. And I remember that the Greeks would just, the red light in the highway, and people would just cross, and just in chaos, and I was just sitting there waiting, like, when is my turn? When is this light? And in Finland, you see in the middle of the night that people are still waiting there. There's no car, and there's a red light. And then I'm just thinking, what is this common sense that I know you people from? You can go, look as your mother told you, left, right, again, cross, but not really. And sometimes I notice myself that when my rule is that I don't cross the street. Oh, I cross the street when there's red light. If there's no car outside, come on, common sense. But if there's a child, like with a mother, I don't do, just not to give the bad example. But if it's not a child, I do it. And then I see the faces of the sour. Barbarians. But I just love it. And then I stare in their eyes too, and I go very gracefully. You can wave there, and I have no. I could give you, well, lowest corruption in the world, no bribing, yes, least corrupted countries in the world, so law and order. So remember that. Honesty. If you lose your wallet, it better be in Finland. Reader's Digest made, in 2003, a few years ago, a social experiment where they dropped 192 wallets in 16 different cities all over the world. The result is that in Finland, 11 out of 12 wallets were returned. Is anyone from Portugal? Huh? Spain? In Portugal and Spain, only 1 out of 12 wallets were returned. And actually, India, it was second after Finland. So most of the wallets were returned. Right? Very interesting. So the wallets had photos, IDs, $50 equivalent to the local currency. And Finland was the country where most